Hello and welcome back to my Let's Build series. This week's episode is going to be focused on the interior of the Coliseum. We're going to start by looking at the larger layouts and floors, and then we're going to start looking more specifically in the second half at some of the rooms. So let's jump in. So I laid down a brownstone floor. I laid it around the whole of the bottom of the arena, and it took me ages. But I'm pointing your attention to these doorways now. These doorways are important because we're going to have to link those to the floor below. So when we design this entrance hall, we're going to need a big staircase. So that's what I get on building first. By designing the staircase, I created all these kinds of spaces that I noticed I could then put things in. So for example, I built rooms underneath the staircase because, it made sense to extend walls from where they were. I also found a space behind the staircases that you can just about see leads to a small door I've put right in the middle of the screen there. And that's going to lead to a balcony, but it also leads out the sides to the actual rings of seating in the Coliseum. I lined the stairs with stone roofing blocks because they look really nice and, their contrast of the steppy nature to the slopey nature, I like that. I added in all the wood because I want to keep the wooden theme on the interior as well as the exterior. So I made a funky pattern in the floor. I used some light blue blocks. I'm going to be using this pattern only in this room, but I will be extending it a little bit to, the doorways. I keep adding in lots of different walls. I wanted to shape this room in a unique and strange way. I wanted to have plenty of doors leading to other parts of the Coliseum as well. So this little clip is me designing one of those doors. Right off to the side there. This is a reverse clip just showing me building this balcony. It's so that you can look out the windows in the front so that they have a value. I'm creating another balcony here that links to the second floor. I added some banners to the wall because they're a really good way of covering wall space. This is the other side of the Coliseum, the poorer side of the Coliseum, and on this side of the Coliseum I decided not to have fancy stairs, but instead to have simple, boring, straight stairs. If you like, you can imagine that one staircase is for going up and one staircase is for going down. But, maybe the rabble just likes to use both whenever they want. At first I thought this poorer section should just have like wooden slopes as, you know, the sides to the stairs, but in the end I did come back and change it to stone. I wanted another pattern in the floor here, but I didn't want it to be as fancy as the other one, so I didn't use any blue blocks. I just put in a grey line that sort of guides you to the stairway. I'm designing another balcony, very similar to the one in the other entrance. I will be having stairs in this area, but you'll see that I'll cordon this off as a room, and when I do that, I add the stairs in afterwards. This is me designing a wall area where there's going to be some shop stalls. People are going to be able to buy things from the shops and, you know, before or after a fight, and then take them home. On the airship buses, I don't know. These little stalls are just designed from wood. I wanted them to have canopies on them and some fences to separate them. And this is what they look like. This is me just walling off this area. In that area I will be building some stairs that lead up, and then I'm extending this balcony for the second floor. So here's a look at this whole area. You can see the supports and the door. This area is back towards the posh section of the Coliseum. This is where I created those large 3x3 windows. I'm just putting in a second floor here. This area is going to be mostly open plan with just a few decorations here or there. I neatened up the stonework and I added some columns as well, but other than that, it's a pretty simple space. Here's what it looks like. Here's a look at what the second floor looks like all the way around this edge of the Coliseum. Here's what it looks like connecting to the poor balcony area. We're going to be going inside the Coliseum in this area now, and we're going to be building a third floor. Because of the height of this half of the Coliseum, I can afford to put in a third floor. And there's still lots of room, you know, for head height. Obviously there needs to be a staircase up to the third floor, so I put that in. I came to the outside and put in some fences that I forgot to put in before, and then I continued the third floor from this area of windows. Here's me just filling in the whole of the third floor, and we're going to cut to what it looks like when it's finished. Now it was time for me to just neaten up the entrances to these floors / balconies on the side here. I added this sort of 3-doorway columned entrance to the second floor, and the third floor just has sort of a balcony with a railing to stop you from falling off it. We're now going into this part of the Coliseum, and we're building a little brownstone floor, and we're going to be leaving a space for the staircase. I do add in a little peekaboo window so you can stare at people on the third floor. Hello. So now we're back to the poor entrance, and that door in the middle between the stairs there is going to lead us into this area. This area is the space between the door and the central ring, and it's going to become a corridor. So we have this huge vast space in the Coliseum on the ground floor where I've got to fill it with rooms. So the first thing I do is I create this huge ring corridor that goes all the way around the central ring of the Coliseum. My idea is to have rooms branching off of this ring. I'm going to be showing you just a little clip now of how we get to the next area that I'm going to be designing. So you move into the entrance hall, you move to the right, and you go through this ring corridor. You can see that there's a space for a room that I haven't designed yet, but maybe we'll turn it into a storage room or something. And then you go down the hallway here. And if we look to the left, you can see out into the arena. It's a good reminder of the scale of this arena. When we fly over it, sometimes I forget how small I am. We're turning around here and we're going to design this lounge. This lounge is for the gladiators who want to be in the arena. So this is for people who are fighting for their glory or their honour, and they get a nice lounge where they can sit and relax and enjoy refreshments before a fight. Or after a fight. If they're not dead. I went with a bit of a blue lighting theme in this room. And here's what the room looks like when it's done. Just a nice big area that you can maybe read a book or eat something or just relax on one of the benches. This room is very special. Lowgy really wanted me to put in a beast pen, so this is my beast pen. This large door here is for the big beast pen, and then we're going to have 2 smaller pens for smaller beasts. Put in the only prison doors I had. They've got a little bit of pink in. Doesn't really match the rest of the build, but hey, it's what I've got. I went inside each cell and I laid the floor down with thatch, which makes it look like hay. Make it nice and comfortable for the imaginary beasts. This is the big pen. We're just laying down much more of the floor in hay, and we're adding much larger stacks of hay in the corners. I opened up the area, so I took away some of the grey blocks, and I neatened up the ceiling so that the whole place looked more integrated into the ring. So, this door in front of you, the middle door, we're going to be going through that door and we're going to be making a room which I'm going to be calling the archive. It's not really a library because this is a Coliseum, but it kind of is an archive of all the fights that have ever taken place. So someone records all the fights, who won, who lost, and they write it down on a scroll and they put it in this room. I put a little balcony area in this room. It's just a quiet place where someone could go and read. This next room is a blacksmith room. It's an armory or a repair room. You know, basically you could take your steel to go and get sharpened or your armor repaired, or if you don't have any and you're a criminal, maybe this is where they give you armor or a weapon. This is a look at it from the other side, the corner that I was just in and how I decorated it. This little area is a kitchen. It's just for preparing meals for the various different areas in the Coliseum. So this room is a storage room, and I decided to try and make it as cluttered and messy as I could, so I got out all of the crates and barrels that I had. Some of those were left over from the airship build, and what I decided to do was just fill the room with lots of storage stuff. A room like this would probably be found in a Coliseum. I mean, you have to have supplies for the kitchen, maybe for the armory, all that kind of stuff. The trick to doing this room was just to fill it with loads and loads and loads of different objects. This is the last room I'm going to be showing you, but it is by no means the last room that I'm been designing. There's so much of this interior I can't show you because it would be like a 50-minute long video. It would be ridiculous. So I'm just showing you the main rooms, and this is the last of the main rooms. This is a meeting room where people can go to have a meal before or after a fight and have a chat. It's probably more for the nobility than it is the poor people. So, this is the end of the video. This is a final look at what this entranceway looks like. You may just be able to notice a stairway just above you in the top middle of the screen. I added that in so that you could get up to the top of the towering structure. Like I said, it's very important for me that all of this build is functional. This episode has been focusing mainly on interior. I've tried to show you quite a lot, but I can't show you everything. The next episode is going to be released later this week, so stay tuned. I'm trying to get these episodes out quickly so that I can start a new build with the release of Alpha 10. In Alpha 10 we're going to be building a city, so that's something to look forward to. But in the final episode we're going to be working on the final structures like the top of the tower, the arena in the middle, some other little details, and, you know, just generally getting everything finished. We may decorate the island with a camp and maybe some trees and a path as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.